Having double axles always presents greater payload capacity and engineering prowess. But these axles are mostly on the back of the vehicle, not on the steering axles. So when we thought of a vehicle with 6-wheel configuration, we thought of this. Not this funky-looking machine with 4 wheels for steering. This car was from a time when intense technological advancements were taking place in car industry. Riding off the 6-wheel sensation that has taken the world by storm these last couple of years, the first story will look at the Tyrrell P34, better recognized as the 6-wheel F1 car. The gestation period. While 6 wheels may seem strange, justifiably, there is more logic to the project than simply adding more wheels. The idea was conceived because of another oddball race car called the turbine-powered F1 car. While that is a venture that will probably get its own video, the gist of the story is the turbine cars were simply too powerful to compete for the conventional rear-wheel drive setup, and alternative methods for putting the power to the ground were being tried. The obvious choice was to try driving all 4 wheels. This caused extra weight from the required transmission and driveshaft, as well as causing complaints from the drivers, who found the handling poor. A gentleman by the name of Derek Gardner, who joined the F1 world during the 4-wheel drive boom, came up with the idea of compensating for the poor driving characteristics of 4-wheel drive cars by splitting the load on the front tire between two, having 2 tires in the front. He sent his idea off for proposal near the end of the 1960s to his then employer's Lotus. Eventually, turbines were dropped from F1, and Derek Gardner shelved his 6-wheeled idea before his proposal could be looked at. However, Mr. Gardner is a committed man, and with the introduction of the Cosworth DFV engine, the F1 world was again faced with more power than they could handle. With essentially everyone adopting the Cosworth engine, creative ways to not only handle the power, but also get an edge on your opponent who was using the same engine with the same aero rules, were being tested. Mr. Gardner pitched his 6-wheel vision, citing several benefits. You can increase traction by driving 4 wheels, while maintaining handling by distributing responsibility of the front-driven wheel. This was achieved with the front-rear wheel being driven, while the front wheel was the only set connected to the steering rack. There is an overall increase in braking area for improved performance. Reduced overall height of the wheels reduces both drag and lift, necessitating a smaller front wing, allowing faster straight-line performance to edge out competition. His idea made enough sense to those above him at his new employers, Elf Tyrrell, for it to be granted approval. With that, designs were drawn up, and testing began. Putting it into practice, one large hurdle that was apparently overcome early on was the tires. Goodyear supplied the tires at the time to the F1 series, and after a little talking, agreed to develop a 10-inch diameter tire for the venture. With that, a physical mock-up could be made, accomplished by attaching a 4-wheeled front end forward of the cockpit on their current Tyrrell 007 Formula 1 race car. While reviews from drivers were not glowing, with one claiming it to be undrivable, while the other test driver was ready to learn the car, it proved that all of Derek Gardner's proposed benefits existed to some degree. The project was given the go-ahead with the goal of racing in the 1975 season, and with maintaining press secrecy. When the car was unveiled, the press was understandably hesitant about it, a hesitancy strengthened when the Tyrrell team was less than open about testing results. The P34 chassis, a unique development from both its 007 predecessor and the prototype, was not testing well, and the Tyrrell team were keeping their lips sealed. Development continued, and features such as the unique driver's portholes that allowed a view of the front tires were added. This allowed a late start in the 1976 Formula 1 season, with both cars retiring early in this first race. One car spun out of the race, while the other suffered brake failure. While a less than glowing start, history had been made, a 6-wheeled car had raced Formula 1. The season continued with the Elf Tyrrell cars working out their teething problems. This season culminated in a 1-2 victory at the Swedish Grand Prix of the 1976 season. Not only would this be the car's first victory, it would be its last and greatest. Not knowing that they had reached their peak, the Elf Tyrrell team finished the season and took what they had learned and worked on trying to improve the car. The 1977 season was hounded by problems for the Elf Tyrrell venture, and the project was officially retired by 1978. The death of 6 wheels. Surprisingly, this was not the death of the 6-wheel Formula 1 racer, with teams such as March and Williams developing both 6-wheel, 4-wheel drive cars of their own, although their dual driven wheels were located behind the cockpit. It was these cars which caused F1 organizers to not only ban six-wheel cars, but also four-wheel drive applications in the sport. As for the fate of the Tyrrell P34, two chassis have been restored in recent years, 006 and 008, with both competing in classic racing, and appearing at the Goodwood Revival regularly, with chassis 006 winning the inaugural FIA TGP Racing Series. Comment below on any questions you may have, and stay tuned for next video. Always remember to share with your friends.